Okay, Terry, I'm seeing a review of your golf lesson yesterday. I know we tried several different things. There are like 3 major reasons why you hook it, and well, 4. One would be that driver. So that's easy to change. Just go to International Golf and see if they'll trade you or something, because that's a good driver for most people that cut it or slice it, which is the majority of everyone who plays golf. All right, for Charles Howell here, we talked about your left hip and your left shoulder. So your left hip would get taller and meet your left shoulder, which I was hoping that would just fix it and you wouldn't have to worry about anything. But you really also need to fix your takeaway. So I would get that the Whippy club, the the Whippy Tempo. I forgot what I told you it's called. Anyway, I can look it up. But you can see Charles Howell right here. You can see his right elbow is further away from his left, and you get your right elbow really tucked in. And if we got your right elbow out, so that if we put a stake through the middle of the eye or your elbow, the back of your right elbow should point to the side of your hip instead of it's pointing directly inside your hip. So if we put a stake, his would point out that way, yours is pointing straight into your body. So we need to rotate that forearm out, and that would also help you, I believe, with that right thumb, because we need the right thumb to support the club at the top. So it's square, and your right thumb is so far off to the side over here that it really supports the club closed. So we do need to work on that thumb. Move your thumb over. I know you regrip it, you're not regripping in the swing. If we could just regrip and regrip your thumb over to your left, over here on the opposite side of the club, and get that elbow out. Alright, so now let's watch him on his takeaway with his hands. If I put this circle around Charles Howell's hands, it's the sequence of his take back. It's going to feel like he takes the grip in back first. His right elbow is still pointing out sideways, not in. The back of his right hand is still very flat. Okay, your sequence is you forward press, and the club head has gone way too fast here. Your right elbow is rotated really in so that the eye of your elbow is pointing towards you, and it needs to be pointing back. Okay, and your right wrist has already started to hinge here, and if anything it needs to unhinge, like go the opposite direction on the takeaway. So when his hands are in front of his right leg, even past his right leg, you can see that his right hand is still really flat against the back of it instead of having a hinge. His right elbow is still out. This would be key in getting that whip feeling. So now, right here, he has the weight of the club head that he can swing to the top. But your weight of your club head is already gone, so you actually have to push it to the top. And we want to whip so we can sling it back. The grip in must go first. It feels like the heel of the club must go first. Alright, so right now his right hand has still not really hinged, and it's going to hinge right here. You can see that his right elbow is way away from his body instead of tucked in. Just like if you were going to throw a ball, you would lead with your right elbow and then wind it. Same sequence. If you could get that, that would help tremendously with the hook. Okay, right here, because of your grip, you can see we can see the club face of Charles Howell, and yours is turned in. His left hip is also a little higher, so his left leg is straighter. It's going to feel like when you take it back that your left hip, you're going to, right, when you take it back here, this left hip must stay high instead of that little bit of that dip that it does. So it's a combination of this takeaway and your left hip. We want to get your left shoulder and your left hip here closer together. Like I said, I was hoping that I could cheat and just do that instead of changing your whole takeaway and your grip. I tried not to do that, but we really do need to change your grip, because your wrist position, even though you took the club head back first instead of the grip in, your wrist position is perfect, but your grip is shutting the heck out of this club face. So you can see that your club face is dead shut, but your wrist is exactly in the same position as Charles. Your left pocket has turned back behind, your left shoulder is turned behind into your right leg, just like we talked about in the last lesson, so that part's really good. And I know that you feel like on the way down that you're turning it over too fast, but it's really that grip and your takeaway. And then you have to hold off on it instead of release. Later on, I would like to work on your posture, but you know, that's ongoing, and I'm just trying to attack a few things at a time because you're still playing well. I mean, all of these are important, but there are only so many things you can think of. Alright, he takes the grip in back first. This might be a little bit harder to see from this angle. You really can't notice that your right elbow is tucked too soon. Your swing plan is good, it's just the club face is really shut. Your wrist position is perfect, but your club face is shut. You can see your club face compared to his because of that right hand grip. So if we could get the takeaway with that whippy club, that Tempo Master whippy club, and it comes a little bit over the top, yes, but that really has to do with that takeaway. And right here your club face is much more closed than his. Another thing that we could work on at impact that would help you with the hook is at impact you should feel like that your hands are much lower instead of straight up in that shaft. You should feel like the shaft is really low, like where I drew that red line. That in itself would help the hook too. If you change your right thumb, you got your takeaway a little bit better. You can work on your left hip later, and you got the shaft lower at impact. That shaft really does need to be low. If you raise it up like that, that's going to make you hit from the inside and hook the whatever out of it. So we got a driver, a grip, your hip, and your takeaway and a little bit of your posture. Sorry, but try to do the takeaway where you relax your right arm and try to take the grip in, and take the grip in back first with that right elbow leading out, and then hinge it. And then I would work on a different driver, and then also I would work on this other ingredient here and your grip, and work on the shaft being lower. So your right thumb, your grip, your elbow, your takeaway of the elbow going first, and then I would experiment with this where your shaft is lower at impact. So right thumb, take away, the grip in, the right elbow first, shaft lower at impact. So anyway, I hope that helps, and I will look forward to seeing you soon, I hope. And shoot 76. Thanks.